right, New Springs, welcome. This is another episode of Everyday Gospel. We've got Anna here at the top left of the screen, or top right. I think that's top left of the screen is Anna. You guys all know her, love her. And then Joon, bottom of the screen, supporting us and holding us up is what Joon is doing. So I'm really happy to see them. I hope you guys are as well. And just as we've been doing with this series, we want to emphasize the fact that God is good. It's hard to see that sometimes. We're in the middle of a pandemic and things are incredibly weird for literally everybody. But to be able to hear stories of a little bit of normalcy and what God's teaching different people in different contexts, I think is at least encouraging to me. So I hope it's encouraging to you. So most of you know Anna and Joon were, I'm not sure the proper verbiage to use there, college students. For Anna were, and for Joon is. So anyway, talk to us about that. What's it like doing college virtually in a pandemic? First, where do you go? Where do you go to school? And then talk to us about that.
Well, I'll go first. We go to the University of Miami, so it's all about the U. Well, I did, and Joon is still a student there. But yeah, for me, finishing the year off virtually was very, disappointing at first, just because I'm a music major and a lot of the stuff that I do is in person. And even like our classes, most of my classes are ensemble classes, which mean, like choirs and different performance groups and all of that we met the hour requirement because it was later on in the semester, like past March. So we met the hour requirement for the semester. So it was okay for us to go online. But we weren't able to do any of our concerts, any of our recitals. So that was kind of the disappointing part. And some music classes are kind of hard to do online. So the rest of my semester was a little, different than others, I would say, that were doing it online because I didn't get to do much. But yeah.
What about you, Joon?
I'll say it was pretty hard actually doing it at home, and not only me, everyone was in it too. Like I know most of my professors shared many like hard stories, and especially that now that I'm in because I'm in biomed engineering, most of my professors actually work with hospitals to work with corona patients, and they would spend most of their day well, a lot more than they usually would because they're working with patients now. So, and then they would probably come back, and within like 10 minutes, they would have to prepare for lectures. A lot of them emailed us too, sharing their own concerns. That they were saying like, sorry that I can't be on top of my class material as a professor. And since for most of us, it was similar to being back at home, having running family matters and stuff. It was very hard to be on top of school material and stuff.
Wow. I didn't realize that first what your major was. I feel like I should have known that, but I didn't know that. And then, of course, your professors being so closely involved with some of the effects of the pandemic. I know also, Joon, that you help out with the baseball team, and it's pretty well known nationwide. Sports aren't happening right now. I'm feeling the pain of that. So what's going on with that? What's your role with the baseball team, and what are you guys up to now?
So I am part of University of Miami club baseball, not the official baseball team, but I'm in a club baseball. And when the pandemic happened, we had like 3 games in a row, almost every weekend, or once in 2 weeks. But all of those were immediately canceled by NCBA, which is a national association. They canceled all of us. So and for now, since it's a sports also, we can't do anything about it. So a lot of our goods were not shipped because we paid dues for it too, and we had some complaints that like water our dues being used for because all of our games are canceled, stuff like that. I'm a pitcher there, so playing games is very important to me. But not now that we can, we're actually still not sure about next semester. Even
Right.
there are many talks about many universities. Some of them are pushing to be back in school with safety guidelines, and some schools are still saying we're not going to be back. We're going to push it for virtually. So that is also a big problem for me personally, and also the club baseball, because we as a club baseball we really can't do anything unless we're back. And even if we're back, if there are very strict safety guidelines implemented still, then we can't do anything, no exercise and anything. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's tough. That's tough for all. Um, I used to, a little confession, I used to be pretty addicted to the Tap Sports baseball app. I don't know if you've ever played that. Maybe you get in.
I did many times.
It's a great little app. So Anna, you were a student at UM. So we should clarify that she didn't get kicked out. Anna graduated. So graduating class 2020, this is the first class in the history of the world where everybody graduated virtually. What was that like?
It was kind of weird because our ceremony is actually postponed for December, and
Oh,
now that's still up in the air, whether that's happening or not. So if it does happen, I'll get to walk. But I had my cap and gown to my house, so I have it, and the diploma is getting shipped later in June. But it was because we didn't have anything like virtually, even because our ceremony was postponed, so they didn't, I don't think they felt the need to do something online from So a lot of my friends who are still down in Miami got to do their graduation photos because they're near the campus, but I'm in Georgia, so I didn't get to do that. But it was kind of like I woke up on that Friday and ooh, I'm graduated. Like
yeah.
my classwork is done, so I guess I'm graduated. So like it doesn't really feel like I've graduated because I didn't walk the stage, I guess, in a sense. But I mean, I don't have any work to do for school, so I guess I am done.
Yeah, you're done. It's over. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but that, I mean, that's cool that they're able to hopefully, I guess we don't know what the future holds, but hopefully have that opportunity to walk in December. That'd be a chance for us as a church to get to see you again because you'll be down here. So we all look forward to that. We can all pray for that. So you
Yeah.
alluded to Anna, you're in Georgia, and Joon, you're in Alabama. Um,
Mhm.
so how are you guys spending your quarantine time? What do college students do when there's no going out and doing the normal college thing? What are you guys up to these days?
Um, well, I usually like to stay home, so it wasn't too bad for me. But I mean, once I had to stay home, it was kind of like I wanted to go outside a little bit. But I can assure you, a lot of the college students now are probably playing Animal Crossing all day, like I am. I wake up and I play Animal Crossing. I eat and I play Animal Crossing. But yeah, I like to spend this time doing a lot of things that I didn't get to do during, my high school and college career because I lived a really busy life. I was always, working, always doing things for school, for church. And now that everything's at home, even that like 15 minutes between things, I could sit down with my sister and just like chat, or, I could pick up my guitar and just play for like 30 minutes. So I get to do a lot of the things that I've pushed that didn't have time to, and I just get to stay home and do a lot of the stuff.
A good positive. Be able to spend more time doing things that you couldn't before. I think,
Hmm.
at least for me, one of the things that God's teaching me is being able to kind of slow down and appreciate more. And it's funny, you just kind of pick up little hobbies along the way because you're at home more. So I get to appreciate my kids. I get to appreciate my wife. I get to really just pour into my family and see God's blessings through that. Joon, what about you? What are some things you like to do while you
um
social distancing?
so usually during every summer I usually do research in a lab and back in Miami for medical campus and stuff. And a lot of my colleagues do the same thing. But when the pandemic happened, the first thing that shut down was medical campus. So no research, no nothing. And many of my friends were also doing internships, like summer internships in like companies, like big companies, but that's also shut down. So many of my colleagues and I right now are kind of like just up in the air. Oh, like what am I supposed to do? Because right now is junior summer it tends to be the most important summer to spend wisely right before we apply for jobs or graduate schools, but no one can do any of that right now. So I've been trying to read books,
Yeah.
like read books that I always wanted to, but never dedicated time to. Like, but they are right next to me actually. Like
Yeah.
those
So,
things, like coding books, like for
uh,
me because as engineer.
yeah.
I have a GRE vocab list that I bought.
Okay.
Like those things. I've been trying to at least prepare the things that I can do while at home, um, while I can't do any research or stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what everybody's up to. I've picked up grilling. I don't know if I'm any good at it, but the only person who has to eat it is me. So it works out for me. Anybody, June, giving you any advice in terms of so being that this summer is such a crucial summer for being a junior in a bioengineering major? What are some things that maybe people have advised that you can be doing while social distancing, or that has that not happened? I don't know. Tell us a little more about that.
Like the advice that I can give, or
Yeah, well, that's maybe been given to you. So normally you'd spend this summer trying to do internships,
hmm hmm
get your name out there so that you have an opportunity once you graduate. So that since you can't do those things,
hmm
what are some things that you can be doing to kind of furthering that
hmm
career path?
for me it was um for the internships and those researches when you do them, like the head or the manager usually gives you like a little project, and that as you do the project you ask, you research, you learn, and that's the whole point of it. But since we cannot do that in person, I've been trying to pick up like the with the coding book that I bought. There's like little projects in there that you can pick up, and many coders and like programmers actually learn it that way by doing your own small little projects. You like research those things. So I've been trying to do that, and just also reading books really help because books um you also gain knowledge from it. So
That's
that's
cool.
what I've been up to.
I feel like you two are preparing to rule the world, is what it sounds like. All great stuff that you're up to. I'm like checking my own heart. I haven't read anything. I'm watching TV, playing games with my sons, and flipping meat on a grill.
Don't worry, I'm on the second page of the book. I've been
That's further
staring at the
than me.
second page for a week now.
Awesome. Well, I like to ask everybody, given that I know a lot of members of our church and maybe even those outside watch these videos. And of course, as they see you, they think about you, their minds quicken, they're reminded of the love and affection that they have for you from having been together for this past year. So how can we pray for you as we think about where you guys are?
For me specifically, I would ask for prayers for, the future, but specifically more those like in the education field, because I'm going to be teaching next year, but we don't really know what that's going to look like, in-person schools, K through 12 schools, how we're going to move forward with, especially, teaching in music. And so, I would ask that you guys would pray for, wisdom and guidance for our administration at our school and in schools all over the country, just, you know, to wisely, even if we have safety guidelines, just something to come up with a wise, safe plan so that students can continue to learn and teachers can continue to teach.
Yeah, so important to continue to think about teachers and students. This is going to be it's going to be an unprecedented year for us all, and we need God's wisdom to do it well. What about you, June? How can we pray for you?
Um, for me personally, I would say pray for my parents because my parents are still going into work. I don't they've never stopped going into work because company was running and they needed people to come. And also the part not a problem, but part of the reason why my parents are going in is in the state of Alabama, we're not really following the safety guidelines like well. We like many restaurants never close down, and um like yeah, like many even when I go out, not a lot of people wear masks. Not a lot of people seems to care about social distancing or wiping down, sanitizing. Like even when I go to Walmart, there's no like because usually when I go to Publix in Miami, there's like a cleansing wipe that you would use to do that, and
Yeah,
like I hear many stories from people in Miami, people in New Jersey where I used to live, and they're saying like, oh, so many has changed. We've been doing those things, and when I go out here, there's none of that implemented. Like I
wow,
don't see any of that
wow,
here. So yeah, my parents have been wearing masks and going to work, but still, it's a very dangerous environment.
wow.
And there has been like confirmed cases,
Yeah,
not in my dad's work, but in near other factories and stuff. So I'll
people.
pray for my
Wow.
I would ask to pray for my parents and also all of those people who are working in this pandemic and putting themselves in risk. Any healthcare providers are all in the same line also.
It's a great prayer, man. That's It's surprising that they didn't follow any protocols. I guess Alabama says we do what we do. Nobody stops. But yeah, we'll keep that in prayer for sure. Man, I miss you guys like crazy. I know the whole church does. Honestly, I've spoken to people. Your names have come up audibly, verbally. Hey, where are they? How are they doing? Part of what led me to say, hey, let's get a video out there showing how Anna and June are doing because we love you and we can't wait to see both of you again. So thanks for sharing your time with me. June, pulling you away from that coding book, Anna getting you away from the guitar. I was just sitting around anyway, so this really isn't taken away from my time. But I'm glad you guys were able to do that with us. Hope to talk to you again soon. Any
Yeah.
last thoughts or any statements you guys want to say?
Stay
Thank
safe.
you for having us. Yeah, stay safe. Thanks for letting me lead worship for a little bit over a year at New Springs. It was a great time in my life.
Well, you're gonna make me cry.
That I genuinely conclude like anyone who hears you sing and the way you lead worship, not letting you do that, foolish. It's a bad move. Let Anna sing. She's good at it.
Thank you.
All right, love you guys. Take care.